Hello and welcome to Time Troopers. Today we're going to be looking at mission 5.2, When in Rome. So as always, read the mission infill story so you understand what's going on. Next we'll move right ahead to the setup. So as always, we'll look at this bottom part here, which tells us we need the purple dice. So we'll take the timeline dice and the purple dice, which we know we always need. Whilst we're here, we'll take our tokens and our time dial. Then we'll have a look at what deck we need. So we need deck C1 to C10. So we'll set that to one side. We will go to the Roman Empire deck and take cards C1 to C10. Let's put them there. Whilst we're here, we will also get our Trooper deck ready and place that here as well. Okay, so looking at this, we will look at the special rules at the bottom first. So it will say quadrant cards. Sort cards Q1 to Q4 from the Unlock Trooper deck and add to your Trooper deck. Shuffle them as normal before a mission. You must pay the cost of the card and add it permanently to your deployment zone. It may be discarded from your hand as normal, but in order to complete your search, you must have all 4 quadrant cards in the deployment zone. So we will go to the Trooper Unlock deck. We will find the cards Q1 to Q4, which are these 4 cards here. We'll set this to one side now. So whilst we've got these cards out, let's just have a quick look at them. So you have south, north, west, and east quadrants, which we need to search. These are going to go into our Trooper deck. So when they appear in our hand, you'll see it has different text on there. So this says you may pay 5 time tokens to search this quadrant. If you do, keep this card in the deployment zone. So if you have 5 time tokens, you could pay 5 and then that would go in your deployment zone. You've searched one of the 4 quadrants, which is great. If you don't have 5 time tokens, or maybe you think, okay, I'm going to need some time tokens to do some other actions, you can choose to keep this in your hand, at which point it will obviously clog up your hand limit, or you can discard it as normal. Of course, if you discard it, you'll have to wait for it to circulate back into your hand. So we're going to shuffle these into our hand as normal. And that's that set to one side. We're also going to look at what's in play at the start. So we have a card C1, and you'll see there that starts exhausted. So we'll take a C1 card, which starts exhausted, which is a Centurion. And the rest of it will get shuffled and placed into the local deck. So let's do that now. Okay, you'll also see here that it says choose 1 trooper, but that 1 trooper starts with 1 damage. It also says damage setup. Place a damage token on the trooper you choose to enter play. Ignore this step if you had a medic in play at the end of 5.1. So when you completed the previous mission, if you had a medic in play, you don't have to put that damage token on there. So I'm going to choose to start with Axe. And he starts in the deployment zone. And of course, we have to put 1 damage on Axe, because for argument's sake, I didn't have a medic in play at the end of the next round. So what are the mission perimeters? Success, have the 4 quadrant cards in the deployment zone, which we talked about earlier. Failure, 3 troopers are defeated or more than 3 soldiers are in play. So obviously that dictates what we have to do now this mission. We have to keep the number of soldiers. So Centurions are a soldier, but so are Legionnaires. So you also have Legionnaire cards. The Legionnaires and the soldiers are soldiers, just as much as Centurions are soldiers. You'll see the class there. So if you have 3 or more of these, more than 3 of these out, you would lose this game. It's also important to know how they interact. So a Legionnaire will say if a Centurion is in play, the Legionnaire gets +1 attack, and a Centurion will say it gains +1 attack for each other Centurion in play. So these cards will interact with each other. So the more of them that come out, the more powerful they are. So be mindful of that and keep an eye on it. Give these a shuffle. Final thing we need to look at to set up is how many cards we start with. So we will draw 6, discard 2, and we start with just 2 time tokens. So we'll set the time tokens to 2. We will draw 6 cards, and we will discard 2. So you'll see in our hand we have a quadrant card. That's good news, because obviously the quicker we get them into play, the quicker we can complete the mission. But we don't have a lot of time. So what I'm going to choose to do is discard this and discard the med pack and keep these 4 cards. So this would be my starting hand. So ideally then I would gain 3 time, which would put us up to 5 time. And now I have these 2 cards. So I have a choice now whether we want to pay 5 tokens for this one, and we're a quarter of the way there, or keep it in my hand for next time. I don't know what's going to come out in the event phase, so for now I'm just going to keep this in my hand along with Doc, and then I would continue to play as normal. So keep the number of soldiers down to 3 or less, and keep the number of time available so that when a quadrant comes out, you're available to purchase it. That's it. You've got this. Good luck!